Getachew Reda, State Minister, Advisor to Prime Minister, and Amhara Regional President have held a key meeting in Humaira. They met with Colonel Damak Zadu. Are they trying to avert war in Volkait? What did they do there? What did the Colonel say? Can they avert a likely conflict, which I have been warning about? Secondly, Iran US confrontation. Iran claims that today it retaliated for the US strikes on its nuclear sites. Iran fired missiles. It happened after meetings between Iranian and Russian leaders. Was the attack carried out by Iran a real attack, or is it just a face saving? And Iran only wants to fire a few missiles to save its face, and no major response from Iran is not expected. Let's have a look at this two story first. Iran US confrontation, Iran Israel confrontation. You know that around 48 hours ago, US conducted airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites. US claimed it has destroyed Iranian nuclear program, which Iran took decades to build. Fordo, Isfahan, Natanz, three main nuclear sites have been destroyed. Sites were located deep down under the ground, but US planes fired and dropped bombs which can penetrate the ground, and these bombs are special bombs only in possession of US forces, and only US planes can deliver the bombs reportedly. So Iranian sites destroyed, Iran's work of decades destroyed. Iran is not acknowledging its losses. Now it wants to save its face. Iranian foreign minister went to Moscow today. He met with Putin, the Russian president. And after that, Iran launched some missile strikes on US military bases. Al Ubaid US military base in Qatar has been hit. Several missiles fired from Iran, which entered Qatari airspace. Most were intercepted in the air. Some managed to land on the US military base. By the way, Qatar was informed in advance by Iran reportedly. Maybe if Qatar was informed, it means that US was informed. When US conducted strikes on Iranian nuclear program, it conducted the operation with confidentiality. No one was expecting, people were in doubt about US participation in the war or not. US kept its plan confidential, hit Iranian's nuclear sites. Iran intimated Qatar, and it intimated the US through Qatar, you can say. It asked US to be prepared, maybe to evacuate, and then some missiles landed at the air base, reportedly, military base. There are reports of some missiles fired at US bases in Iraq and Bahrain, to not confirmed. But sirens have been heard in Iraq and Kuwait too, Iraq and Bahrain. Main strike is being confirmed in Qatar. If you ask me, Iran is claiming that it fired the exact number of missiles equal to the number of bombs dropped by the US, and that it has taken revenge. But it's not true. Iran's hard work of decades has been destroyed by the US in seconds. Iran's nuclear program has suffered damage, irreparable or not. I'm not sure Even if it's repairable, it will take years for Iran to reach this level. Their entire machinery destroyed, which was being used for nuclear program, for uranium enrichment. These strikes by Iran are basically face-saving strikes. Iran might launch more attacks on military bases, but this is not how you hit your enemy. You always keep your plans confidential. You never disclose your plans in advance. So it means that Iran is in a weak position. They don't want to acknowledge their weakness. No country, no military admits its losses, its weakness. That's what Iran's problem is. They're weak. Iran is very weak. It is faced with the world superpower, with the entire European countries. Even Middle Eastern countries are not supporting Iran. Iran on its own. Russia involved in Ukraine, not in a position to stand with Iran. Maybe that is why after the meeting between Iranian foreign minister and Russian president, Iran was told to fire some missiles for facing. Let's see what happens. Now here's second story from Ethiopia. I've done several videos in the last few days. I've been telling you about rising tensions in Volkayt, military mobilization being reported towards Volkayt by Tigray fighters. Deployment of Eritrean military confirmed by several sources on Hajar front. If there is no intervention, there could be a conflict, armed conflict between Tigray forces and federal government. Getachew Reda is now on the mission to de-escalate, to avert a war, which could be deadly for the country, deadly for Tigray. Getachew Reda, his party 2 days ago issued a statement asking federal government to cut off the link between Eritrea and TPLF. But he has been given a new task of the return of IDPs. Because TPLF is using the issue of IDPs. It says IDPs must return. They are suffering before the start of winter. They must return to their homes. Otherwise, action will be taken by people of Tigray, TPLF Tigray military. That is why Getachew was sent to Humera today. He was accompanied by Arega Kebede, our regional president. The two held a meeting with Shata Damdev, PP, Central Committee member, and administrator of Humera Volkayt Sagade. They met with Colonel Damakazadu, head of security, deputy administrator of the area. They met with residents of Humera. Why did they visit Humera? Well, they told Colonel Damakazadu, Ashat Damdev, to agree to the return of IDPs. They told them that if IDPs are not allowed to return to Humera Volkayt Sagade, Tigray fighters, TPLF could wage war on Volkayt. Eritreans could support them indirectly. That TPLF is using the issue of IDPs to wage war on Volkayt. That is why return of Tigrayan IDPs must not be opposed by the government in Humera Volkayt Sagade. When Getachew was there, people spoke and they criticized TPLF a lot. People who were there at the meeting, they said TPLF is responsible for Mai Kadra massacre. TPLF is responsible for ethnic cleansing of Amharas committed in Humera Volkayt Sagade in the past. People said they won't allow anyone, any TPLF entry into Humera Volkayt Sagade. Getachew listened. He said, yes, we respect your identity of the Humera Volkayt Sagade people. At the same time, the issue should be solved peacefully through dialogue. Those who want to wage war should not be allowed to use the issue of IDPs to start a new war. That is why all should sit and solve the issue. IDPs should start returning to their homes in Humaira Mulkaz. So we can say that Getachew Reda Arega Kebede are on a mission to avert a likely conflict which I have been warning about. Question is Getachew really sincere in averting a war? Or would he like this war to happen? This is a very important question, by the way. And if return of IDPs is not a simple issue, it's a very complex issue. Because Damascus Zaidu-led government wants to verify each and every Tigrayan IDP who wants to return to this area. Tigray side won't agree to the verification of each and every IDP. If it happens, it will take long time to be completed. But Getachew and Arega want the process of return of IDPs to start. If IDPs start returning, even a few thousand return, TPLF won't be able to wage war using the issue of IDPs. That is why they were in Humaira, asking Colonel and Ashad Damlo to agree to the start of return of IDPs. I think in coming days, we could see IDPs start returning to their homes in Western Tigray. Will TPLF agree to return of IDPs, or will it demand dismantlement of Colonel Damascus Zaidu-led government first? TPLF might make this demand that Tigrayans are not safe, they won't be safe if Damascus Zaidu's government is intact there. The government should be dismantled first. So coming day is crucial, but it's good to see that something is happening. Federal government was not responding to the protests by IDPs. Things were heating up. Now it seems that federal government is realizing the gravity of the situation. That is why Getachew and Arega were sent to Humaira. But the result of the meetings between these two leaders and Colonel Zaidu will be clear in coming days. Thanks for watching.